10th anime in our list is The Unwanted Undead Adventurer. Renfena, a 25-year-old adventurer, has been hacking away at monsters for a decade. Without much talent for the job, Rent finds himself stuck hunting slimes and goblins for meager amounts of coin every day. Little does he know, all this is about to change when he comes across a seemingly undiscovered path in the Watermoon dungeon. What awaits him at the end of the path, however, is neither treasure nor riches, but a legendary dragon that wastes no time swallowing him whole. Waking up a short time later, Rent finds himself not quite dead, but not very alive either. He is nothing more than a pile of bones, armed with nothing but his trusty sword, tool belt, and ghoulish new looks. Rent sets off on his quest as a newly reborn skeleton to achieve existential evolution, hoping to one day return to civilization with a more human form. Will Rent succeed, or will the dungeon consume him for the rest of his undeath? 9th anime in our list is Tales of Wedding Rings. Satu has been in love with his childhood friend and neighbor, Haim, ever since she and her grandfather appeared out of nowhere 10 years ago. Now a dazzling yet mysterious high school beauty, she makes it more and more difficult for him to confess his feelings. As the anniversary of their first meeting is nearing, will he muster up his courage to transform their friendship into something more? Or will an entirely different fate await this tightly bonded pair? 8th anime in our list is The Witch and the Beast. Gaido, a feral girl with long fangs and the eyes of a beast. Ashaf, the soft-spoken man with delicate features and a coffin strapped to his back. This ominous pair appears one day in a town that's enthralled to a witch who has convinced the townsfolk she's their hero. But Ashaf and Gaido know better. They have scores to settle, and they won't hesitate to remove anyone in their way. 7th anime in our list is My Instant Death ability is so overpowered. Awaking to absolute chaos and carnage while on a school trip, Yogiri Takatu discovers that everyone in his class has been transported to another world. He had somehow managed to sleep through the entire ordeal himself, missing out on the gift. He powers bestowed upon the others by a mysterious sage who appeared to transport them. Even worse, he and another classmate were ruthlessly abandoned by their friends, left as bait to distract a nearby dragon. Although not terribly bothered by the thought of dying, he reluctantly decides to protect his lone companion. After all, a lowly level 1000 monster doesn't stand a chance against his secret power to invoke instant death with a single thought. If he can stay awake long enough to bother using it, that is. 6th anime in our list is Metallic Rouge. It is an action sci-fi anime in a world where humans and androids coexist. Rouge is an android girl who is on a mission on Mars with her partner Naomi. The mission is to murder 9 artificial humans who are hostile to the government. 5th anime in our list is Sign of Affection. It is a romance anime. Yuki Aitos is a hearing-impaired university student whose world has been shrouded with silence since birth. She has lived in the same place her whole life and rarely interacts with others save for her best friend, Ryan Fujishiro. During her commute one day, she meets the silver-haired and multilingual Itsumi Nagi, a mutual friend of Rin. Unlike most, Itsumi is unwavering when he learns of Yuki's impairment. This, along with his experiences abroad. After they part, her fondness of him starts to grow. A new world begins to open for both Yuki and Itsumi as they learn about each other's different lives. Yubisaki to Renran is a light-hearted romantic comedy that illustrates the silent life of a university student and how one man sharing his world starts to change her own. 4th anime in our list is Sengoku Yuko. It is a action-adventure drama. Fantasy. The world is divided into 2 factions. Humans and monsters called Katawara. Despite being a Katawara, Tama loves humans and vows to protect them from evil, even if it means fighting her own kind. Her brother Jinka, however, hates humans despite mostly being one. The siblings are joined by a cowardly swordsman named Shinsu, who wants to learn how to become strong. When the group uncovers a plot to experiment on humans and transform them into monsters, they vow to defeat whoever is behind it, even if it means battling an entire army of warriors. The people they meet Places they see and creatures they battle will be legendary. Third anime in our list is Chain Soldier. It is an action, fantasy eki anime. After his high school graduation, Yuaki Wakura realizes that in 5 years since his sister's disappearance during a Meido disaster, throughout Japan, mysterious entrances have opened to a dimension called Meido, a demonic metropolis filled with disastrous monsters known as the Shiruki that threaten the safety of humans. However, a new hope arose as the discovery of a Meido fruit that grants supernatural abilities exclusively to women allowed them to fight against the Shukai. Due to this, a new matriarchal government was formed, establishing a female organization called the Anti-Demon Corps, which caused men to fall to the bottom of society. When Yuki suddenly finds himself in Meido, he is unable to escape on his own. But just as he anticipates a gruesome end by the Shukai, a girl in a militia outfit appears and protects him. As the chief of the 7th unit of the Anti-Demon Corps, Yuka Yuzen is ambitious, yet devalued by her own peers due to her power being deemed unusual. Now, in a life-or-death situation, Kyuka takes the opportunity to find out the true potential of her superpower by using Yui. Second anime in our list is Delicious in Dungeon. It is a comedy, fantasy, gourmet fantasy. After the Golden Kingdom is sunk underground by an insane magician, its king emerges, promising all of his treasure to any who defeat the magician, before crumbling to dust. Guilds are spurred on by this promise, traversing the labyrinthine dungeon in search of the magician. Laios, the leader of one such guild, encounters a dragon that wipes out his party and devours his sister Fallen. Despite having lost the entirety of their supplies and belongings, Laios, along with Marcial, an elven healer, and Chilchuk, a halfling thief, immediately re-enter the dungeon, determined to save Feline. Time being of the essence, Laios suggests the taboo of eating the monsters of the dungeon as a means of gathering supplies. Upon the preparation of their first meal in the dungeon, they are stopped by an on-looking dwarf named Senshi. An enthusiast of monster cooking, he helps them prepare their monster ingredients for safe consumption. After learning of Laios' circumstances, Senshi expresses his desire to cook a dragon and joins their guild, thus beginning their food-filled foray into the dungeon together. First anime in our list is Solo Leveling. It is the most awaiting anime of this winter. It is an action, adventure fantasy anime. 10 years ago, the Gate appeared and connected the real world with the realm of magic and monsters. To combat these vile beasts, ordinary people received superhuman powers and became known as hunters. 20-year-old Sung Jin-woo is one such hunter, but he is known as the world's weakest, owing to his pathetic power compared to even a measly E rank. Still, he hunts monsters tirelessly in low-rank gates to pay for his mother's medical bills. However, this miserable lifestyle changes when Jin-woo, believing himself to be the only one left to die in a mission gone terribly wrong, awakens in a hospital 3 days later to find a mysterious screen floating in front of him. This quest log demands that Jin-woo completes an unrealistic and intense training program, or face an appropriate penalty. Initially reluctant to comply because of the quest's rigor, Jin-woo soon finds that it may just transform him into one of the world's most fearsome hunters.